We need to talk about a game that basically had the impossible task of pleasing everybody and somehow miraculously actually pulled it off. Grab your green herbs, check your typewriter ink ribbons, and make sure your combat knife isn't about to break, because today we're talking about Resident Evil 9, officially titled Resident Evil Requiem. Now, if you've been following my channel for a minute, you know I cover a lot of gaming news, a lot of industry shakeups, and sometimes I just rant about life. But today is all about the games, because Capcom just dropped an absolute masterclass. For years, the Resident Evil community has been split straight down the middle. You've got the purists who want pure, unadulterated survival horror. They want to be trapped in a mansion or a police station with 2 bullets, a lighter, and a dream. Then you've got the action junkies who want Leon Kennedy doing backflips over lasers and roundhouse-kicking zombies into the stratosphere. Capcom tried to mash these together 13 years ago with Resident Evil 6, and we all remember how that turned out. It was a Michael Bay movie wearing a Resident Evil skin suit. But with Requiem, they finally figured out the formula. They looked at the puzzles, the horror, the action, and the legacy of Raccoon City, and they blended it into what might honestly be the greatest hits album of the entire franchise. Let's get the biggest talking point out of the way first. The game is roughly 10 hours long. I can already hear the keyboards clacking. I can hear the comments typing 10 hours for $70. Kyler, that is a scam. Listen to me very closely. Stop it. Stop measuring a game's worth by how much it bloats your weekend. We have been suffocated by open world games that take 100 hours to beat, but 80 of those hours are spent collecting glowing feathers or climbing radio towers. Resident Evil Requiem is 10 hours of absolute killer with zero filler. There's not a single redundant fetch quest. There are no dragged out stealth sequences just to pad the runtime. Every single corridor, every puzzle, every combat encounter is meticulously choreographed. The pacing is so tight, it actually makes you appreciate that it doesn't overstay its welcome. It respects your time, and in the modern gaming landscape, that is a massive flex. The genius of Requiem lies in how it handles its 2 main characters, because Capcom realized that you can't have one character do both the terrifying horror and the ridiculous action without giving the player narrative whiplash. So they split the duties. First, we are introduced to a brand new protagonist, Grace Ashcroft. And let me tell you, Grace is put through the absolute ringer. She is the anchor for the pure survival horror experience. When you play as Grace, you are not a superhero. You are basically playing Resident Evil 7 all over again. You are underpowered, you are stressed, and your resource management needs to be flawless. Grace finds herself trapped in Rhodes Hill Hospital, which is run by this theatrical, utterly unhinged scientist named Victor Gideon. This guy is a classic Resident Evil villain. He's arrogant, he's eccentric, and the hospital he runs is an absolute nightmare factory. To escape, Grace has to find these 3 quartz blocks to unlock a door, which sends you on a massive puzzle hunt across the east and west wings of the facility. You are cracking safe codes, you are hunting down hidden jewels, and yes, you are stuffing organs into bodies to solve morbid puzzles, because what would a Resident Evil game be without doing a little bit of casual surgery to unlock a door? But the real puzzle is how you navigate this hospital, because you are not alone. You are being stalked by a massive zombie chef wielding a kitchen knife and an even bigger bloater-style enemy called a chunk. You can't just blast your way through them. You have to learn the layout of the hospital. You have to play smart. You have to know when to engage and when to absolutely haul tail in the opposite direction. The resource scarcity here is real. Early on, Leon actually hooks Grace up with a weapon called the Requiem. It's a forearm-sized revolver that looks like it could blow a hole through a bank vault. It will obliterate any zombie in front of it. The catch? You got like 1 bullet. 1. Maybe 2 if you scavenge like a madman. So you have this ultimate delete button in your inventory, but you are paralyzed by the classic gamer dilemma of, what if I need it later? I ended up saving my shots for these new infected. They're basically the screamers from Left 4 Dead. They shriek so loud they literally burst your eardrums, grab you, and drain almost your entire health bar. Those guys got the Magnum treatment immediately. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for the basement section with Grace. There's a freakish monster down there with bulging eyes that makes the giant chunk enemy look like a giant teddy bear. The stalking sequence gave me the clammiest hands I've had in years. My stomach was in knots. Every single corner I turned felt like stepping off a cliff in the pitch dark. It was so terrifying that I actually had to toggle the camera perspective to 3rd person so I could corner peek. If you play this section in the dark with the headset on, I am praying for your blood pressure. But then, just as your nerves are completely fried, the game hits you with the ultimate palate cleanser. It hands you the reins to Leon Scott Kennedy. Going from Grace to Leon is like watching a horror movie and then seamlessly transitioning into Pacific Rim. It might not be as sophisticated, but holy smokes, it is so incredibly cool. With Leon, the horror takes a back seat and the adrenaline takes the wheel. There is a zero hesitation. You wade into a flooded, pitch black underground parking lot with zombies rising out of the water, And instead of feeling fear, you just feel supreme confidence. You're handed a rifle and get to stand on a balcony, picking off zombies like you're at a carnival shooting gallery. The combat mechanics for Leon have been fine-tuned to absolute perfection. You've got the classic finishing moves, the grandma suplexing, the roundhouse kicks, and a parry system that is so simple, but so satisfying. You just hit the button at the right time and you deflect incoming damage. When you master it, you feel like an absolute god. Leon's arsenal is stacked. You get a pistol, a revolver, a shotgun, a rifle, and you can heavily modify all of them. I cranked up the power of my handgun and reduced the kickback on my shotgun and made my rifle reload at lightning speed. And the best part is, the game never makes you feel like you invested in the wrong weapon. The controls balance weight and responsiveness perfectly. Leon reacts the exact millisecond you press a button. If you die, it's not because the game was clunky or unfair, it's because you messed up and you learn from it for the next run. And the set pieces for Leon are legendary. I'm talking about getting trapped inside a burning church because it wouldn't be Resident Evil if a religious building wasn't on fire, and fighting off a horde of mutated zombies in a gory, fast-paced brawl that lets you chain together all of your combos. You have the boss fights that force you to use the environment, fights that test your precision aiming, and an all-out brawl where you are just swinging a combat axe for your life. But I have to talk about the climax of Leon's section because it's the most beautifully absurd, over-the-top thing Capcom has done in years. Leon is making his way through the devastated ruins of Raccoon City. He needs to cover a massive distance. Does he walk? No. He finds an old army motorbike. What follows is a high-speed racing sequence through a destroyed city where you are driving a motorcycle while simultaneously firing a machine gun at mutated, souped-up zombie dogs running alongside you. If that wasn't crazy enough, who pulls up next to you? Our eccentric hospital villain, Victor Gideon. What is Victor Gideon doing? He is riding his own motorcycle wearing a glorious snakeskin coat, and he is firing an RPG at you. A snakeskin coat, a motorcycle, an RPG. I was laughing, I was cheering, my jaw was on the floor. It is completely improbable, it is arguably completely unnecessary, but it is the exact brand of unapologetic campy action that made the original Resident Evil 4 a masterpiece. It knows exactly what it is and it embraces it fully. Resident Evil Requiem somehow manages to be everything to everyone. Gives the horror fans the sweat-inducing, puzzle-solving tension they crave with Grace's chapters. Then it gives the action fans the slick, weapon-juggling, roundhouse-kicking chaos they want with Leon. And it ties it all together with a narrative that brings Raccoon City back into the fold without trampling all over our nostalgia. It takes the lessons learned from the failures of the past, trims all the fat, and delivers 10 hours of pure gaming excellence. If you are a fan of the series, this is an absolute must-play. It has easily cemented itself in my top 3 Resident Evil games of all time, and I know I'm going to be replaying this campaign over and over again just to optimize my weapon loadouts and see if I can survive that hospital basement without pausing the game to catch my breath. But that is just my take on it. I want to hear from you guys. Are you more excited for the terrifying stealth sections with Grace, or are you just here to parry chainsaws and do backflips with Leon? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. If you enjoyed this review and you want to stay up to date on all things gaming news, commentary, and whatever else I feel like talking about, make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton, and it lets me know you guys are enjoying the content. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Cyler, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Stay safe out there, and happy gaming.